The summer of 2025 was supposed to be Russia's moment of triumph. Instead, it became a season of chaos and collapse. Along the vast front line, Russia's much-hyped offensive crumbled into a bloody failure. Over 700,000 Russian soldiers were thrown into the fight. But their advance stalled almost immediately. Ukrainian resistance was fierce and unyielding, turning Russian hopes into disaster. Fields were littered with destroyed Russian tanks and vehicles, a testament to the scale of the defeat. Tens of thousands of Russian casualties mounted for almost no territorial gain. The plan to capture major cities dissolved into a slow, grinding battle for small villages, often lost again days later. Ukrainian tactics, Western weapons, and relentless drone strikes stopped Russian attacks before they could even begin. The offensive ended not in victory, but in humiliation and a deepening sense of failure within the Russian ranks. The summer of 2025 will be remembered for the collapse of Russia's military ambitions and the immense human cost of its failed campaign. Russia's 2025 offensive was built on grand ambitions, but delivered almost nothing. The Kremlin aimed to create a buffer zone in the north and seize the rest of Donetsk, including key cities like Pokrovsk. Instead, Russian forces captured just a fraction of a percent of Ukrainian territory, at enormous cost. In the north, their advance stalled in a handful of border villages, pinned down by Ukrainian attacks. The major cities, Pokrovsk, Kramatorsk, Sloviansk, remained firmly in Ukrainian hands. The offensive devolved into costly minor skirmishes with little strategic value. With no victories to show, the Kremlin turned to propaganda, blaming the West and demanding Ukrainian concessions. But these words rang hollow as their army failed to advance. The offensive ended not with a victory parade, but with desperate attempts to control the narrative and hide the truth. Russia's grand plan had become a public disaster. The battle for Pokrovsk was the centerpiece of Russia's offensive, and its greatest failure. Russian forces, including the elite 2nd Combined Arms Army, tried to seize this vital logistics hub. Small Russian teams infiltrated the city, but Ukrainian defenders quickly hunted them down in brutal urban combat. Despite Russian claims, Ukrainian supply lines held, and counterattacks even pushed Russian forces back, liberating nearby towns. Near Dobropilya, Russian troops briefly crossed the Kazany-Torets River, threatening a breakthrough, but Ukraine responded with a swift counter-offensive, trapping Russian units against the river and inflicting devastating losses. The Ukrainian army not only defended but seized the initiative, turning Russian advances into costly defeats. These battles proved Ukraine could outfight and outthink its larger enemy. Pokrovsk and Dobropilya became symbols of Russian failure and Ukrainian resilience. The offensive's key battles ended with Russia on the defensive. Ukraine's tactical brilliance turned the tide. Behind the front line, the Russian army was falling apart from within. Morale was at rock bottom. Soldiers were exhausted, poorly trained, and sent on hopeless missions. Desertion and discipline problems spread, with entire units refusing to fight or abandoning their posts. Commanders struggled to maintain control, spending more time enforcing obedience than planning attacks. Attempts to centralize drone warfare only created more bureaucracy and slowed response times. Russia's rigid top-down command structure couldn't adapt to the realities of modern war. The cracks in the Russian war machine grew wider, exposing an army hollowed out by poor leadership and low morale. These internal failures doomed the offensive from the start. The failure of the 2025 offensive shattered Russia's myth of military invincibility. Putin's carefully crafted image of a modern, unstoppable army was exposed as propaganda. The world watched as Russian forces struggled against a smaller, more motivated Ukrainian opponent. This defeat joins a long list of Russian military disasters, from the Crimean War to the First Chechen War. The contrast between myth and reality is now undeniable. Burnt-out tanks and demoralized soldiers replace the image of the mighty Russian bear. Eastern Europe and Central Asia are watching and moving further from Moscow's influence. For the West, the lesson is clear. Russia's conventional military power has been vastly exaggerated. The defeat in Ukraine marks the moment the world stopped fearing the Russian army. The failed summer offensive of 2025 stands as Russia's greatest modern military disaster. Strategic goals, creating a buffer zone and conquering Donetsk, ended in catastrophic failure. Tens of thousands of lives and vast resources were wasted for almost no gain. Ukrainian. Resolve, tactical skill, and Russian internal decay combined to shatter Moscow's ambitions. Russia's reputation as a military power is in ruins, its myth of invincibility destroyed. The consequence will echo for years, weakening Russia's army and global influence. The lesson is stark: military strength depends on morale, leadership, and the will to fight for freedom. The 2025 offensive is a turning point, a self-inflicted wound that will shape Russia's future for years to come.